Right, a beautiful afternoon. You're welcome to your favorite social media program, The Buzz. I am Rose Blossom Moye. Of course, the day is Tuesday, the 29th of April, 2025. And we've almost come to the end of this month, my month actually. So, actually, to be part of this program, you can actually watch us live on our app, which is on Google Play Store and App Play Store, and that Galaxy Television app. So, just go in there, type in Galaxy Television, and download the app to watch every live program on Galaxy TV live. And yes, you can also be part of the show to all our viewers. And we have amazing callers and those who send us text messages. Please make sure that while you're calling or while you're sending text messages, you please indicate your name and where you're calling from. Then, if you're also texting, make sure that your name carries your text carries your name and where you're texting from. I'm not doing this program alone. Obviously, I have my co-host Patricia. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Blossom. I'd like to introduce myself from Women's Corner and then introduce myself again because I've added a name to my name from the advice I got yesterday. So I am Patricia Urimugiras and I'm seated here with Rose Blossom for the boss.
Okay, so we'll first give update to what's going on first before we start talking properly. First, we all know what happened with Osinachi, the woman who died, and of course, court has actually ruled his judgment on the husband, and he has been sentenced to death. Okay, I'm just gonna read a little bit so we know exactly what's going on. Okay, so the late gospel singer Osinachi's husband has been sentenced to death by hanging. Well, the Federal High Court in Wuse Zone 2, Abuja, sentenced Peter Nwachukwu, the husband of the late gospel singer, to death by hanging, following the court's conviction of Nwachukwu for culpable homicide, which led to the death of Osinachi. Well, that's the update. And of course, we have other updates where we had the UK deporting about 43 failed asylum seekers and others to Nigeria and Ghana. Well, the update is amazing. Well, we have a Zoom guest joining us. We have Prince Chilaka on Zoom. Can we have him join us? Thank you very much. Do we have Prince now?
How are you?
Okay, it's good to have you. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Well, before we start talking about what we have for today, let's quickly go for a commercial break. And after the break, we'll be right back into the studio to continue discussing. Stay with us. Okay, all right. Welcome back. You're still watching your favorite social media program, The Buzz. Okay. So the first story we'll be taking is a US-based lady, Professor Nweke, who actually called out to Senator Natasha Akpoti with shocking details for allegedly lying. Well, I'm gonna put that together with the letter that Senator Natasha addressed to the Senate, to Senator Akpabio. Okay, so merging them together, I'm just going to read a little bit of it. Now, the US-based individual, Professor Nweke, has accused Senator Natasha of using gender issues as a political tool under the guise of gender advocacy. She claimed that the senator, who represents Kogi Central, is playing a political game with the goal of undermining the Senate president and destabilizing the APC-led federal government. Before making this accusation, Professor Nweke clarified in her statement. She says, "I am neither hungry, poor, or for sale. I have served this country with honor through the Standards Organization, and I was a key architect of the SONCAP and the pre-shipment inspection tests, which are now integral to Nigeria's quality control system." Now, the call out is a whole lot. She said a whole lot of stuff. Now, adding to the letter that Natasha sent to, apology letter, she sent to the Senate President, well, all right, yes, you're welcome back to the program. Well, that's a commercial break. Apologies for the break, just like that. Well, we're talking about the letter she addressed to the Senate President. Well, as I was saying, in her letter, Senator Akpoti Uduaghan, mockingly apologized for the serious offense of, of maintaining her dignity and self-respect in the presence of the Senate president. She sarcastically acknowledged the expectations of compliance, stating, "How careless of me not to realize that my refusal to comply with your request was not simply a personal decision, but a breach of some men's perceived entitlement." Well, criticizing systematic sexism, she added, "I humbly ask for forgiveness from your magnanimous heart, hidden somewhere beneath layers of entitlement, for this stubborn woman who foolishly believed that her position in the Senate was earned through elections, not through other means." Well, the letter actually reads in parts, and I won't be able to read all of it, but trust me, going on and on, I might be pushed to read the letters. Well, we have Prince on the program. I just want to say this. Now, there are two things. Now, someone is coming out to actually say, that's Professor Wiki, is coming out to say that she's not hungry, she's not poor, she's not looking for attention, and she's going to come up with evidence of why Natasha is lying and she's not doing this because of any gender, whatever that she's trying to do, but she's doing it basically for politics' sake. And a lot of things were being said, but we'll put it under the umbrella of allegedly. But well, Natasha not even reacting to that letter or to that write-up from Professor Wiki, come out to write an apology letter to the senator. So I would like to get your reaction. What do you say about, first, starting with Professor Wiki, stating more like the obvious to her? Well, she's not giving evidence for us to confirm that she has voice notes, she has recordings, she has calls, she has text messages of Natasha's scheme, trying to, get, some persons out and, put herself into it. But anyways, let's hear your reaction.
Oh well, this whole thing has become a mockery of our legislative arm of government, and I'm happy with the apology to start with, because she started by saying it's a sarcasm, so it means that it was not an apology that is meant for the public. It was an apology between two people. But you see, if you really take note down, if you take your time to look at that letter very well, you'll find out that beneath that apology, she's actually passing a message. Yes, very serious worded message. She's, passing a message that we shouldn't take for granted. We shouldn't just, push it aside and say, oh, this is a ranting of somebody that is hurting. No, she's passing a message. And I only wish that people will take that message and leave out the messenger. She has passed the message in such a way that, she started by telling you that, that legislative success is not by your hard work. It's by pandering to what they want. I mean, that is deep. I mean, that shows you how bastardized and how for granted the legislative arm of government has taken the Nigerian people. So she if you read that letter very well, we will see that she has spent time about the issues that is bedeviling the National Assembly, the issues that is bedeviling the nation, in such a way that the ordinary Nigerian on the streets will understand what she's talking about. So I think it's just a way of saying, look, I want to send a message, but I want this message to be in such a way that while people are reading it, people should be laughing, but they must take home the message of that message. So that's my take on it. Now, talking about the lady who was attacking her and all of that, I still don't understand why ladies find it difficult supporting one another. I don't understand why. I think, is it Namibia or which country is it, that the president sacked the minister because he was, accused of corruption. He was accused of sexual harassment. And, the president did the right thing. Sit in judgment of your own case. You cannot be the arbiter of your own case. So every right-thinking Nigerian had expected that when this issue of sexual harassment was levied against the Senate president, we had expected that the Senate president would have excused himself and allowed for a proper investigation by independent parties. We had also expected that the Senate president wouldn't have sat the day Natasha was being suspended. So, the Senate, I think the Senate president and the red chambers, and including the House Committee on Ethics, they have all played into our hands, and there's nothing you can do about it.
So much. Behind cameras, I was just talking to Blossom, and I was telling her, I said, I do not understand why women does not support women. I don't know where this Professor Mweke is coming out from to say she has evidence and all that. But we're just going to be seated waiting to see her evidence. I do not understand why she's not supporting a fellow woman like her. We'll wait to see her evidence. But anyway, my question is just a direct question. Do you think the Senate president is going to accept that letter as an apology letter?
Obviously no. Obviously no.
It's satiric to start with, and I believe that if the Senate president accepts that letter, it's actually an indictment on the National Assembly, because there are issues she has raised in that letter that is calling for, questioning and calling for an answer. So we need to know what kind of Senate do we have. Do we really have a Senate that have the interests of the Nigerian people at heart, or do we have a Senate that is made up of, purely men who are thinking of themselves? Do we have a Senate that has integrity, or do we have a Senate that has lost integrity? So that's why I said, let us take the message, let us analyze the message, and let us leave out the messenger. But I think the Senate president would not accept such as an apology. No right-thinking person would accept that as an apology.
Myself, if I was sent such an apology, trust me, after reading it, I would not even consider it an apology. I would just consider it a letter. You just want to mock me or something, because that does not even look like an apology. In fact, for the viewer's sake, I'm just going to read up the letter so people understand where we're coming from, because some person will be like, which letter? I've not seen any letter. Well, this is the letter she wrote. Dear distinguished Senate President Goodwill Akpabio, she said, it is with the deepest sarcasm and utmost theoretical regret that I tender this apology for the grievous crime of possessing dignity and self-respect in your most exalted presence. I have reflected extensively on my unforgivable failure to recognize that legislative success in certain quarters is apparently not earned through merit, but through the ancient act of compliance of the very personal kind. How remiss of me not to understand that my refusal to indulge your request was not merely a personal choice, but a constitutional violation of the unwritten laws of certain men's entitlement. Truly, I must apologize for prioritizing competence over capitulation, vision over vanity, and the people's mandate over private dinners behind closed doors. I now realize the catastrophic consequences of my actions. Legislation delayed, tempers fled, and the tragic bruising of egos so large they require their own postcodes. For this disruption to the natural order of quid pro quo, I bow my head in fictional shame. Please find it in your magnanimous heart, somewhere buried deep beneath layers of entitlement, to forgive this stubborn woman who mistakenly believed that her seat in the Senate was earned through elections. not erections.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Well, I do not know. Trust me, she must have really sat down to compose this letter and read it all over again to her satisfaction before releasing it. Now, you said something very vital. You said, why is Professor Mbeke, a female like her, not supporting Senator Natasha? But let's look at it from the other side. How about if, and also my colleague here said, why women, why is she not supporting? I want to take it from the other angle. How about if she's actually wrong for what she's doing? Does it mean that women have to support such stance, or rather do the other side of the book?
No. You see, I am one person that believes in fairness, justice, and equity. And I've always said, he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. Even if she's wrong, even if she has lied, even if the accusations are false, have we given room for proper investigation? We have not given room for proper investigation. So we need to give room for proper investigation to be able to ascertain whether she's right or she's wrong. But what we have done, or what the National Assembly have done, was, beating a child and asking that child not to cry at the same time. It doesn't work that way. So if Natasha was wrong all the way, and we have helped her to prove that she's not wrong, if she was wrong all the way, and we have created an avenue, we have created a situation where it could be said that, oh, she's wrong, and it is obvious to everybody that she's wrong, then she has no case. But in this situation, she has made an allegation. You have not investigated. You have not listened to her. You have not done proper investigation. You just came up and you said, oh, she's lying. And this is what happens in marriages. When a woman complains about a narcissist husband or a gaslighter as a husband, the family members don't listen. And they just say, because we have this mentality, is a woman. Woman has no say. But we forget that even women who say women have no say, we have daughters. So how do we want our own daughters to be treated tomorrow? So these are my own arguments. I have never come out to say that, oh, Natasha is wrong. No. All I have said is that those who should have given her opportunity to prove her case, those who should have been able to say what she's saying is wrong, have not given room for that. And that is my grouse with the National Assembly.
Well, Emmanuel, please display the studio number below the screen TV so we can have our viewers call in and send messages. Thank you. Well, that being said, enough of the apology, which is not really an apology. But
I want to ask a question.
We have to go to the next topic.